How y'all doing today? How y'all doing today? I made a video about called "Have You Ever Wrestled with God?" You can look down and see the video. And took a short of that video, and I put that short on, I put that short out there. And when I put it out there, I took a little part of it about Jacob being flawed. And some people have some issue with me saying Jacob was flawed. One person said, I don't know what I'm talking about. I need to read the Bible. I need to do all these different things. And I just want to clear that up. I want to clear this up. I didn't start this channel thinking that people didn't understand these stories. And that's me being naive. Okay, I guess everybody has a different understanding of stories and different interpretations and things like that, and that's fine. But I'm here to clear this up because I don't want people thinking that I don't know what I'm talking about, and I don't want people thinking I'm misleading people. Because one person said, you misleading people. I should be teaching and all this. So I'm gonna clear this up, and I appreciate them saying what they said and giving me that input because it lets me know that people are compassionate about the Word of God, and they really would stand up for the Word of God, and that's good. But what I want to do is I'm going to clear up some things and some misunderstandings because they took that clip and they did not grasp what I was the whole picture. But even still, I believe they still would have had the same feelings because it was because they attacked the part about it being flawed. You see what I'm saying? So I'm gonna go ahead and fix that right now. And I wrote some notes down. Now I'm not gonna cover every part of the story of Jacob. I'm gonna hit like two key points. I'm gonna hit to show you how Jacob was flawed, and then how he was changed in the end. But you don't get changed unless you are flawed. That's that's the whole basis of the story. But I'm gonna touch on a few things, and I'm gonna try to keep this video short, but get right to the point because I want you to understand. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is there's three things I want to cover right quick. Hermeneutics. You got hermeneutics. When you're reading the Bible, you use hermeneutics, and this is not the a basic level, right? You can just read the book, and that's fine. But there's another level to it, and it's called hermeneutics. When you're using hermeneutics, right, it's a branch of knowledge that deals with the interpretation, that deals with interpretation, especially of the Bible. That's number one, hermeneutics. Number two, well, actually, let me go back. The art and science of interpretation, which means context, culture, and language. All that falls upon the hermeneutics. So I'm gonna say it again. It's the knowledge that deals with interpretation, especially with the Bible, and then it's the art and science of interpretation when it comes to conduct, culture, language. That's hermeneutics. That's what I use when I'm doing the Bible. I study hermeneutics. I know hermeneutics. It's a 7-step process, and it's processes that you go through when you're interpreting the Bible. The Bible has some hard to understand context, and some people don't know what it means, so they don't know about hermeneutics. They never took it. They don't understand it. So then you got what they call exegesis, which is I'm gonna just instead of giving you this definition, I'm gonna give you an easy definition. So exegesis is when the Bible has a meaning already, and when you use exegesis, you're letting the Bible tell you what it's saying. Then you have eisegesis. Eisegesis is when put your feelings or what you think it means into the Bible. That is not the one you're supposed to use when you're using the Bible. The Bible already has a meaning. It doesn't need our meaning to be put into it. The meaning that the Bible has is already there. That's why it's important to understand hermeneutics so you don't insert your own belief or thoughts into it. You can read it for what it's worth, not your own. You see what I'm saying? That's the thing about the Bible. It's not the way a lot of people read it, interpret it is wrong. They're not using the proper way to interpret the Bible. So I want to clear that up. I use these two things here, hermeneutics and exegesis, when I am dealing with the Bible. I don't put nothing that I personally think or feel into it. I let the Bible tell me what it's saying. Right? That's how that works. So I'm gonna go ahead and get into this thing and clear up this misunderstanding that I have, well, that's had with me. So the first thing I want to talk about is Jacob. This whole thing is about Jacob. Esau got some problems too, but I'm gonna stick with Jacob. Now Jacob means heel catcher, supplanter, leg puller, he who follows upon the heel, deceiver. That's why when you go to Genesis, when you start off in Genesis, when they're talking about Esau, when they're talking about Jacob, I mean, it says he came out holding the heel, right, grabbing the heel, because he's a heel grabber, leg puller, deceiver. When somebody's a heel grabber or a leg puller, they're deceiving you. I don't know if you've heard that term. I don't know if y'all old enough, or you may have heard some old folks say it. Man, why you pulling my leg? When somebody say you pulling my leg, that means you're deceiving them. If you got old people around you or older people around you, go ask them, hey, what it means if somebody say you pulling my leg. That means you're trying to get over on me. That's what this means when they call it. Jacob means heel grabber, deceiver, things like that. And that's why in the Bible, if you look at the story where it says, um, after his brother came out in Genesis 25, verse 26, after his brother came out with his hand holding Esau's heel, that means Jacob was holding Esau's heel. He's a leg grabber. He's a heel catcher. He's pulling Esau's leg. He's already starting before he even come out of the womb. So I'm going to go ahead and get further into the story. Right? Let's go ahead and get into it. So when you look at Genesis 25, I'm starting at verse 29 in the EIV, in the ESV, English Standard Version of the Bible. That's what I'm using. I got a bunch of different Bibles, but I'm using this Bible right here. Just want to hit these key points, and I want you to understand what I'm saying. I'm using hermeneutics and exegesis when I'm going through these things here, these passages, these scriptures. So let's start off with this first one. I'm gonna hit 2 points. That's it. 2 parts of this to show you that Jacob was a deceiver. He was flawed until he wrestled with God. So once Jacob was cooking stew, so starting in chapter 25, verse 29, once when Jacob was cooking stew, Esau came in from the field and he was exhausted. Talking about Esau. Esau was exhausted. And Esau said to Jacob, let me eat some of that red stew, for I am exhausted. That's Esau telling Jacob, let me eat some of that red stew, for I am exhausted. Then you go down to 31, Jacob said, sell me your birthright now. Then Esau said, I am about to die. Of what use is a birthright to me? Meaning, when he said, I'm about to die, meaning he just told you he was exhausted. He's exhausted from being out all day. That's what Esau said to Jacob, because Esau was a hunter. Jacob was cooking food at the time, cooking the stew. Esau told Jacob, I am exhausted. Jacob saw that opportunity to say, sell me your birthright now. Because Jacob knew that Esau was the oldest, and that he's going to get the birthright. He knew that. So he said, I'm about to die. What use is a birthright to me now? I'm about to die. But that means Esau had his problems too. I'm not going to even explain what that meant about Esau. That's for another video. Sticking with Jacob. So Jacob took the opportunity to use that against Esau. That's deception. That's taking advantage of a weakness. That's what that means right there. That's what he's doing. Then he sold it to him. So then once he did that, that's when Jacob gave him the bread and the lentil stew. That's his first time being misleading and being deceptive, being a manipulator. That's what all of that is. That's what he's doing right here in that verse. That's cut and dry. Very simple. He manipulated him using his weakness against him. Anytime somebody uses your weakness against you in a situation like this, they're manipulating you. Anytime somebody is manipulating you, that's not a good thing. That's a flawed person. You should not never use manipulation. That is not the way we do things. So then let's go to the next one, where Isaac blesses Jacob. So Isaac is Jacob and Esau's father. Isaac is getting old. He already can't see. He's getting weak. Now we over here in Genesis 27. He's getting weak. And what he does is he tells his son Esau to go out and hunt and bring back some game and cook it so that he can enjoy his game, because Isaac loved Esau's game, right? So when I say game, I mean going out hunting and bringing back animals. But Jacob, well, their mother Rebecca overheard Isaac telling this to Esau, because Rebecca liked Jacob more than she liked Esau. So she overheard that. So she went and told she went and told Jacob what was going on. So she went and put wool on Jacob. And because Esau was a hairy guy, he had hair all over him. So he went and put wool on his arms to deceive. His mother was helping him deceive. So she went and told him to go out there in the yard and kill one of the animals, and she would cook it up and give it to Jacob, and he would take it in there and give it to Isaac. And he did that. So he went in there and he said, and Isaac could not see, he already was losing his sight. So he asked, who was it? He said, it's Jacob. I mean, it's Isaac. I'm sorry. He said, it's Esau. And he was bringing him the game for him to eat. And then Isaac said, he reached in and grabbed his arm and said, he feel like Esau, but he sounded like Jacob. He asked him 3 times if it was him. And each time he asked him, Jacob, what did Jacob do? He lied and said it was him. That's deception. Then he said, the second time he asked him, he said, well, how did you get it so fast? How did you come back so quickly? And what did Jacob do? Use the Lord's name in vain. Jacob said, God is the reason why I was able to go and get it and get back so fast. That's another lie. That's all them times he's been deceptive. See how this works? He's been deceptive like 3 or 4 times already. He deceived him in the beginning when he told him about the when him and Esau was talking. He was being deceptive. Now he's talking to Isaac, his father. He's also being deceptive again in that part. So let's go ahead and go forward to the other part of it. This is the last part I want to cover. So when the change happened was when he heard that, so a couple other things started happening in there where they left and they got married to the people they told not to marry and all these things. But I don't want to get too far into that part because I'm sticking to a point I'm trying to make. It wasn't until this part right here where Jacob changed. He would not have changed and he wouldn't have done all of this if he wasn't a flawed person. So what he ended up doing, he had a dream. He woke up from that dream of that place that he was at in Bethel, and it was named, I believe it said God's house, right? So he had a dream, and he moved. So he moved his family all these different places. But then the angel came and wrestled with him. He said an angel came and wrestled with him. So the angel wrestled with him. He wrestled with him all night. And that angel asked him, who are you? What's your name? Meaning, when somebody say, who are you? They want to know if you can tell them, like, who are you? What you about? He said, what's your name? He said, my name is Jacob. And what he wanted was he wanted to be, he had that dream. Let me back up. That dream he had gave him a revelation. He started really understanding what it was that he's supposed to realize. He started seeing all of the things that where he went wrong, and now he wanted to be different. So when the angel came and approached him, he wrestled with him. He wrestled with the angel. You get what I'm saying? While he was wrestling with the angel, he got asked these questions: who are you? What's your name? He said Jacob. And they wrestled all night to the dawn, to the next morning. And that angel told them, which was God, said, "Let me go." Well, we're gonna, from different scholars say different things, but majority of everybody agree that it was God. And he said, "Let me." God said, "Let me go." And he said, Jacob said, "I would not let you go until you bless me." So then God changed his name to Israel. He went from Jacob to Israel. When he became Israel, that changed his name. Now he's no longer who he used to be. He's no longer the deceiver, the leg puller. You see what I'm saying? Because Israel has a different meaning to the name. Israel means wrestle with God. It no longer means what it used to mean. Now he's a different person. And he touched his hip socket and broke his hip socket. Now he had a different walk for the rest of his life. That his hip being dislocated reminded him that he's no longer the same person that he was. That now his walk with God is different now. And the reason why he didn't let go, because he wanted to hold on to God. Now he wanted God in his life. He wanted to hold on. When he say wrestle with God, what he's saying is he now reaching out and holding on to God. He didn't want to let God go. He wanted to keep holding on forever. And what that's telling us is sometimes we got to hold on to God. We can't let God go. We can try to do all these things on our own, but it ain't till we hold on to God and grab onto God that things change in our lives. And sometimes God might do something to us to hurt us, or we might have to go through some pain to get us to change. But he changed his name, he changed who he was, he changed his walk. So now he's no longer walking the way he used to walk. Now he's walking totally different because he's walking with God now. And that will always remind him of that. I said I was going to read all this stuff. I didn't even read it. I'm still doing it off of my head. And if this didn't make sense, I apologize to you for misleading you. But I'm almost certain that the things I'm telling you right now is exactly what it is. And you can go and check this off of most of these scholars on the internet. Now, I made this video because I wanted you to understand that what you said to me was not what I was trying to say. I hope I cleared up any misunderstanding that we may have on this. We shouldn't even be going back and forth over the word. But only reason why I'm doing this is to show that I do understand the scripture. I use hermeneutics and exegesis in my understanding of the word. I don't put anything in there of my own feelings. I'm taking what the words say, and I understand how to use exegesis. Okay? I'm gonna try to tag you in the video, and I hope y'all can be tagged in and understand exactly what I just said. I didn't do it. I was gonna do a whole class on it, which that would take hours to do, and I want to do that. That's what that means. Jacob was not. Jacob was flawed. He was deceptive. He was a leg puller until God changed him. That's why he went from Jacob to Israel. That's why he went from Jacob to Israel. Now you hear different interpretations of what Israel means, but it's all going to resort back to the same thing. Hey, look, I appreciate you watching. I'm sorry for any misunderstanding. Y'all have a great day.